wrapped up in my sleeping bag, looking out the window at Aaron's house as the sun is beginning to creep over the horizon. And the trees are silhouetted black against the emerging blue sky with the fading stars up in the sky. And I think to myself how much I hate Aaron because he's got it fucking made with this fantastic house of his, this nice little piece of property tucked away out in the backwoods of South Dakota. God, I fucking hate him. I hope he dies. I hope he dies of syphilis. You piece of shit.
I was going to try to organize this into some kind of cogent argument or like an organ, and I just can't. I'm in a bad mood, man. Cappy's not dying or anything. He's just Cappy fucked up a couple things, and now I get to pay the con. And then everyone else is fucking up. And this is a philosophical point I want to point out to you boys and to you girls as to generally, not all women, of course, generally how intellectually dishonest and even amoral on it. You should be ashamed. As a group, Western women should really be ashamed of themselves and your fellow sisters that it's gotten to this point. And it's to show you boys how they got you wrapped around their little finger. Where I'm looking at this, like, how much rope, how much leeway, how much forgiveness or understanding or trying to understand them. I mean, you stop, you look back. It's that clown meme. It's the clown meme. You know, like, oh, she'll love me for who I am, putting on the first thing of clown, and then the second picture is even more makeup on. Oh, but she's got another man's kids, but that's all right. And then there's full clown at the end. This one is just less obvious. It's less obvious because, in part, because boys are programmed to want girls more. The sex drive, the feminine mystique. Women are Mysterio. It's this box. It's this puzzle. We can figure it out if we just get a little bit more information. It's the constant moving of the goalposts, and I absolutely think the vehicle that we have it now is social media. But we are at a point now where we're at the stage where we're debating. Oh, and that was the other thing. It was also sneaky because what you've seen on the internet with TikTok girls and drama, why can't I find a man? And chivalry is dead. Like at first, right? You know, you all got duped by those AI fakes. Like, man, those are hot chicks. Like, oh, look at the fingers. Like, crap, I got duped by it. This was very subtle kayfabe professional wrestling Jerry Springer theater. Even I was like, these girls crying on the internet all the fucking time. And what happened to chivalry? Like, there's a script, there's a code book somewhere. The secret society of TikTok girls, like, hey, you want to go viral? Say these things and act like an idiot. But because we had no previous context and it was new, like, oh my God, do women actually believe this? Oh my God, this is horrible. Women are atrocious. If you're to believe what you see on, hey, really, tell me I'm wrong, ladies. The girls on TikTok who represent you, by the way, more than any politician, more than any spokesperson or spokeswoman. That's what people see. I don't see you girls stopping it. I say this is all fake. So there was nothing to counter, man. Like, what else? Where was where was, and then with this atrocious, whatever you want to call it, girl boss, feminism, whatever, the stereotypical TikTok drama queen talking about dating or whatever else. Then the counter was trad wife, all with low-cut cleavage dresses. And oh my, OMG, like I totally love Ronald Reagan and conservatives, and I totally want to have 18 babies and make you a sandwich. And I wasn't cynical enough. I mean, after I saw the trad thoughts come along, like, get the fuck out of here. Now, and you slowly wake up to it, right? But for a while there, I'm like, was this real? Really? This is horrible. But there's no counter. There's no counter. And so this came up. Old man Rolo tweeted this out, and I hate it. The fact we're in the tabloids should tell you this is all fake. You unknowingly are in the tabloid world. This is where the daily, and the mainstream media doesn't do its job. So, a lot of times, the New York Post or the Daily Mail actually does have more information because you're all a bunch of fuck ups. There's no ethics or integrity or principles in any kind of journalism anymore. So we all got to guess what's reality. But this is an example of what I'm talking about. This is an example. Old man Rolo, he said hoax. So this is the Sun. Bonnie arrest hoax. Clip of Bonnie Blue being arrested goes viral, but it's just another pathetic stunt by a fame-hungry attention seeker. The adult actress has been seen was being seen frisked by cops and taken to a police station. A video seemingly showing OnlyFans star Bonnie Blue getting arrested has gone viral, but the Sun can reveal the clip is just another pathetic stunt by the fame-hungry attention seeker. Well, there's a lot of pictures. Do we get to the words? Bonnie, whose real name is Taya Billinger, lied to her 700 Instagram followers by posting a clip of herself being searched by cops to a police car. The caption claiming to be from Bonnie's sister read, "As you may have seen, Tia has been arrested. We still don't have clarity on the situation, but we'll keep you all in the loop as soon as we know. Thanks for all the support in the last 24 hours. This isn't something we wanted to get out, but it seems there's no privacy for her anymore. But we can now reveal Bonnie staged the whole thing." A source said it's all part of a stunt to gain notoriety. The cars were hired from Blue Light Film Group, who specialize in film props, and she used the Sly Field estate in Guildford for her arrest. As for the police station, it's actually Lockwood Studios, a community centre. They spell it wrong because of the Revolutionary War. The Sun previously revealed how the controversial model is currently filming a documentary with Channel 4 about her notoriety, and the stunt comes after she previously deliberately falsely hinted that she was pregnant in a move slammed by social media. Bonnie's video sparked a flurry of calls to police who were left baffled. Surrey police confirmed the Sun they were not involved in any incident on the Slyfield estate. Bonnie's right-hand man, documentary maker Josh Spooner, also appeared in the clip. He appeared. Okay, it's a ruse. It's a lie. Is this the one that I wanted to sleep with a billion guys? Is this the one? Is this like there Nala Ray? Not that she slept with a billion guys, but this is attention. This is an attention whore. This is obvious. Okay. I'd expect this from a Nebraska star. But what about your humble TikTok account? What about that stuff that you see? I remember, was it Taylor the Fiend when it was first coming out? I'm like, dude, women really like this? Or do you have to search it? I don't know if it was him, but if somebody was like, no, dude, there's just thousands of these. Thousands. And at the time, I'm thinking like, oh my God, it's real. Women really think this. And then as time went on, no, there's just that much attention-starving whores out there. And here's where this is the trap. This is where you need to bump up a little bit more philosophically. So for every guy who wants a girl, which is all of you, right? You'll get the argument, even from women themselves. See, they're not that bad. This is all fake. And to me, I'm like, that almost makes it worse. Better Bachelor said, I don't care if they're faking it. Because I was like, dude, I think this Yana hockey gal's just doing it for attention. And he's very wise. He says, I don't care if they're faking it or not. The fact that we are now burdened by having to suss out what's true, the fact they would do it is a reprehensible act that so many girls would go out and do this. And there's no counter. There's no counter. There's not like, yeah, these bitches be fucked. I'm sure there's some empirical, honest woman out there. But for every one of those, there's 100 or 1,000 of these. Oh my God, the man didn't help to pull me over, and I was crying and all. I have to work a full-time job. Is this what my life is going to be? You guys are saying, see, it's fake. So the real ones are out there. My point is, look at the hurdle they just made you jump over. We now got to figure out what's true and fake. Now, you've always had to do it on the internet, but you have to figure out You have to know to get girls to like accurately diagnose what women want, what is their real opinion of men. We got this huge facade, this huge valley of fog we had to walk through. And now we came out on the other valley of fog. We look at, it looks like that was a valley of fog. It looks like these girls were just doing it for attention. Why did we have to go through the valley of fog in the first place? Why was it there a beacon or a lighthouse saying, no, this is the truth? Yeah, these girls are all faking it. Where was that? From the women's point, I'm saying. And they got you so trained, or maybe it's your sex drive, your genetics have you so trained that we'll do anything to get girls. And maybe this was a big shit test. Girls got to test you, see how intelligent you are, see how much you're going to lay down for the mat to protect them and the children. Maybe that's a genetic compunction. You are so driven and so blinded, you never stop to say, why the fuck do I have to figure out whether what the majority, it seems, tell me I'm wrong, the majority of people on the internet, women on the internet, are doing this, they're lying. Why do we, I'll give you another one. Coco Butte. Do you remember her? She went viral a while ago. I think even Old Man Roll was on with her. Who's Coco? Look her up. She's the one with the fake puffy lips and does a makeup thing. And she was like one of the first, you men cannot go, she's from some fucking former Soviet bloc country. And she was the one like, we do not do coffee dates. You have to buy and pay our, and oh my God, people were pissed off at her. And maybe because she was an early adopter, she got a ton of followers and all that. And then I think a year ago, she did the fake crying. I call it fake. Show me the receipts. She doesn't care. Plenty of followers. That she couldn't do the egg freezing thing because she was too old. And then the crying and the sobbing. Bullshit. Let me see. Let me see where you went. Let me see the receipts. And then I'll say, okay, she did it. Those tears were real. Remember the young girl? Like, oh my God, it was like I had to work 8 hours and I had to drive. The little blonde, is that real? Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's real or not. What you're seeing is a significant percent of the female population being intellectually dishonest as to get clicks, to get attention, whatever, and to poison the current or the current relationship between men and women for their event. Maybe it's ultimately selfish, right? they don't care. Maybe they, Snorkel. What was the black gal with the spray paint amount of paint? Sprinkle. Wasn't it? And then men went drizzle. What, and then you find out that gal is married. That's the shit why are they even doing this? What? That should tell you right there. And Better Bachelor was right. It doesn't matter if they're lying or not. The fact they're doing this is unacceptable. And there's now a tremendous, we had to figure, hey, ladies, we did good? Do we get a Scooby snack? Do we get to touch the boobies now that we figured out it's all a fucking ruse? Or in a lot of women's cases, it probably is. I'm sure, 100 million creators out there. Some probably are crying because they found out they had to work for a living. But the ones like, I left my husband of 17 years and OMG, it's so hard to find a date. Can a 45-year-old woman just find slay queen? It's just keychain. That's all it is. Hey, we figured it out. Now touch boob? Fuck this shit. The only way to win is not to play. And that's where I want you guys to say, see, they're faking it. So there are real girls out. No. The fact it has come to this, the fact that the main Discord, the main message out there, whether it's by a minority of women or not, I don't see a counter. It doesn't matter that they're lying or not. The fact that this has happened is unacceptable. This is bullshit. We don't have the time. You men do not have the time, especially with inflation and lack of housing, because we have way too many college majors and not enough carpenters. You do not have the time to waste your mental facilities figuring out whether Hiana Hawking is being true or not. The fact that one, so many find this morally, or they probably don't consider the morality, do it. They lie. And then two, you find platforms where they promote it. All right. Like there's no these media companies have Condé Nast, Boldy, whatever, the ones where it's all the female drama and men sucking on a TikTok. The fact that which I guess in some way TikTok and YouTube, I guess they got a free speech issue. I guess the platforms in general do, but they get a platform. And to me, okay, girls, when are you guys call how many? There needs to be more Rachel Wilsons. Right? And even I see this is nothing but love for Rachel and Andrew. But I see even people on my team retweeting it like it's not Rollo. Rollo retweeted hoax. He's calling bullshit on it. I see other people like, oh my God, I can't believe it. I'm like, that's bait. That's fake. This is why I won't retweet anything with Nyla Ray or whatever. I'm like, get on out. Get that fucking get her out of here. Get that fucking showman out of here. But it's still, again, there could always be someone who really is crying. But we gotta get enough people to realize most of this is probably fake. And what would really help is if there were more Rachel Wilsons of the world saying that's bullshit. This is crap. Women aren't like this. They're not supposed to be like that. But and here we are to this day. I can't tell you where the needle lies. I really can't. I settled on there's more than a seed of truth to a lot of these girls' TikTok stuff, just as there were like the Vogue magazine articles way back in the day. But they kick it up an extra 25% to make it edgy and more dramatic, just so they can sell. And the lack of women just in daily life, certainly on the internet, especially for younger people who don't come in and say, this is fucking bullshit. No, here is the lack of that. And, before I get to it, the lack of a counter narrative or counter videos to it saying women aren't like this is bullshit, lends more credence to the acting. I left my husband 30 years and I can't find a man. That makes young people, especially who maybe not are savvy enough to know it's theater to a certain extent, and actually believe women are that bad. I am more concerned about the real world because in good times, in normal, traditional, normal times, right? Women generally rejected men to begin with anyway. In the best days, 1 in 5 would go on a date with me, but that was normal. Troy Francis and Roosh, who were way better players than me back in the day, I think their close rate was like 30%. Still a minority of the time. Women are programmed, thankfully, because if women just went out with men, if women had equal interest in men, we'd all outbreed our food supply. There's good genetic reasons that I agree with. It's somewhat unfortunate that I agree with that you can't have two sexes where they're equivalently attracted to each other because it would be either overpopulation or no sex, which funnily enough, you saw, I think I even cited it in, was it A World Without Men? If you look at gay couples, they're banging and having a grand old time. You look at heterosexual couples, they're in the middle. If you look at lesbians, they're women still at the same day. Women don't have that big a sex drive, so they have dead bedrooms or certainly a lot less sex than the other two copulations of couples. So you want, you need one sex, typically the men, that are motivated by women and children, so they go out and do all the hunting and fishing. And in our cases, it's building civilization as humans. And I don't know, in the hawk world, it's catching fish or building a nest. I don't know what men hawks do. They do men hawk things. And then they go out and build it. And the gal's like, oh no, I'm picky. You got to work up to it. You got to work up to it. That's how species survive. That's how civilization was built. So I'm thankful for it. But that's my point, is women just in normal, genetic normal, not woke, not Democrat Party taking over, not you were raised by schools. Normal, regular 1940s, 1950s time, women rejected men the majority of the time. So unfortunately, when these boys go on the internet and they see what is despicable, lying, intellectually dishonest, atrocious, attention-whoring behavior, say, man, these girls really don't like us. And then they go in the real world, and let's say they got 1 in 5, which is normal. But 80% said they rejected them. And say, see, these girls really do hate us. Whereas, like, no, they don't. Maybe some do. Of course, feminism is becoming popular. But no, I still think it's the same 1 in, well, nowadays, yeah, it's a little different depending on your age. But there's still some girls out there, no, I'm going to get critiqued for this, that are relatively normal. They're not the atrocious, vile human beings that are displayed on TikTok and the social medias and the gossip pages and all that. But they're still going to turn you down 80% of the time because that's just women. That's their genetics. But because what's normal is an 80% rejection rate, generally, these young men who were brought up on the internet, and that's the majority of the data they're getting, wow, these girls really seem to hate men. And then they ask out to the shot down. Well, yeah, they really don't like guys. They don't realize, nope, that's normal. If women really in other words, if what you saw on the internet reflected reality, you'd be getting shot down 19 out of 20 times. You'd have a 5% success rate. A 20% success rate is normal and healthy. So in other words, I don't think what you see on the internet reflects it, but the real world, on just some basic trial and error. What's a Zoomer? Tanner goes out and asks out Madison or Baden or Layden or Shaden or whatever the names is you name your kids nowadays that are lame. Get shot down 4 out of 5 times. Say, fuck this shit. In other words, nature will corroborate the worst of what's on the internet in a young man's mind. And you just go to Walmart. You're not physically attracted to him anyway. And it's horrible. This misinformation, I wish it was for propagandist purposes. I think it's just for attention and money. The majority of these girls are doing. They're like, I want to become an influencer. I want to become the next Coco Butte. Oh my God, men are so horrible. He didn't pay for my $500 bill and he just left me. Oh my God, I got arrested. Drama. Click, 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 click. Having no clue what it does to the otherwise unaware male population. Like, look at this horrible behavior. The only way is you girls better start. You can, at any point in time, ladies, you can start coming out and saying, no, we really like men. These are bad women. No, we're still not going to go out with you the majority of the time, but we're not that bad. We just have some standards and requirements, which they have every right to. And you guys kind of, let's be honest, everyone could lose weight. You could all stop living at home, although maybe not in today's high inflationary environment. But I don't see that. And that silence goes back to another philosophy of mine. Like, I don't care what lurks in the heart, deep in the heart of women. Ladies, I don't care if deep down inside you want a guy, you want to get married, you want a husband, you go to the nightclub, and there's this guy, but he asked you out, but you had a girl boss and show him, and I don't know, didn't get his, I don't know, but whatever, your actions didn't corroborate with what you wanted deep down inside, and you go back home and cry yourself to sleep. That's a you problem. All men can deal with is what actions you put forth in the real world. And if you girls deep down say, oh, that's kind of bad, women aren't that bad, and you say nothing about it, how are guys going to know? Well, if that is all the information being put into the market, no different than a financial market. If all the information being put into the market is skewed a little bit, you're going to have skewed results. And no guy's going to be asking you out. What was it? The man is tired and hurting. Hang on. Let me look up the quote. You think he's gonna give a shit what you don't make that? The man is hurting and he is alone, tired, and he ain't seen diddly squat from anybody down here. Now you're gonna stand there and tell me he's gonna give a damn about what you do to him if he makes it out of there alive? Why don't you wake up and smell what you shoveling? You and it really, and here's the problem. There has never been a point in time where there's been more agency put upon women to affect society. Like, ladies, right now, you could, oh my God, the population crisis and the fertility thing and the man, like, hey, it's your move. I don't know how many balls people keep hitting over to you on the tennis court and you never hit one of them back. I don't know, you're too busy looking at your phone. Hey, the other half of the population is waiting for you to move. Are you going to say this is true? Is this what you're going to let this stand? Because if you're not going to say anything, if you're not going to be like, oh my God, that's horrible and true. No, we really don't think that way. Well, that's what's going to be true. You cry yourself to sleep every night, drinking wine. I really wish a guy would, I can't go. But you don't tell the girl boss or the feminist, like, fuck off. I want to be a stay-at-home mom. You don't say that. Guys don't know. You're like, well, she just told me to fuck off at the nightclub. I guess, you could change it. However, I will. You want even more dark shit? Again, looking at polling data, which I think is probably closer to true. I think girls are just kind of like, I could go with, yeah, I like it. Are those girls lying about when they're ruining our reputation? Like, I got enough matches on my whatever dating app, or I'm just not interested. Right? You'd have to be motivated to go. Like, I'm trying to think of something. What would it be where I'm just like, no, I don't really care that. Like, we'll find out. We'll find out. But I think girls just aren't that motivated to correct or to say, no, that's not our opinion, or we're not all like that. I don't see anyone standing up for it or standing up against it. So that's unfortunately what's going to be reality. What's on TikTok right now, ladies, is going to paint your entire reputation and viewpoint for men. And as that becomes more atrocious and more false and more dishonest, and therefore removed from reality, men are just going to assume, why don't men ask us out anymore? Why? Have you seen the propaganda coming out? What are you doing to counter that propaganda? I mean, if you really want to, you can ask out guys. No, I'm kidding. You don't got the courage to do that. That's funny. You see what I did? That's called a joke. But no, and unfortunately, I think over time, men are going to realize, like, Jerry Springer and professional wrestling was fake. More and more people are going to find out these TikTok girls are fake. They'll say, yeah, maybe girls aren't that bad, but I don't know. It kind of makes it, and it'll be just like, yeah, okay, that's what they do. There's still no cheerleaders. There's still no, like, rah-rah, like, hey, boys, and, like, we like guys. Or, I mean, you don't see that in the real world either. Everyone's overweight. Girls don't wear skirts. And hair's short. And what go on. But yeah, what we see on the internet is close enough to the real world that I don't think most men are going to make a discern on that key difference between a 5% and a 20%. I don't think men are going to know. And that extra 15% shot probably would have been enough to motivate him to ask out. But for you guys, one, you know it's fake. Two, you need to know when you realize it's fake, not to say, see, they're faking it. So now that we know it's fake, now we can go and find the girls who are real and sit. No, it's their job now. I don't know about you guys. I'm tired. Fucking tired of always sussing out what women really say or meant. Dude, that's been going on since time immemorial. And right now, all you can go on is what they do. I don't care if the internet is fake. I don't care if the TikTok girls are lying. I don't care if they're doing it for attention or whatever. And you say, see, that's all fake. So there's some real. Then where are they? And you know what? It's up to them to make themselves. I'm not even asking them to ask guys out, but to make it known. Are they doing that? Well, how about we stop jumping through the fucking hurdles and putting on the clown makeup? You should be pissed that half the population seems to be or is not stopping a group of attention whores from ruining their entire reputation. You should be insulted that then, oh, now we got to figure, oh, this was all a LARP. This is all a joke. And they're, oh, now I get it. Okay, so now we figured it. No, there'll be something new. There'll be another new thing. No, just walk away. Just walk away. And then, ladies, at any point in time, you'd like to, frankly, anytime you want to be adults and not lie and be intellectually dishonest, like, no, I want to. Okay, cool. Then there will be progress. In the meantime, if this is, what will we call it? If this is your ambassador, spokesperson, but it's a group of people. If this is your PR firm, if this is your representatives, I guess that's the best way. If the intellectually dishonest attention whores, if you're okay with them being your representatives of real women in the real world, but on the internet, okay, cool. But you gals might want to go and look at that. If you care. And men, dude, watch some documentaries about bears or tornadoes or literally anything else. You don't have time for it. All right. Link below. What do I got? Oh, speaking of which, it's the Book of Numbers, Better Bachelor Edition. Oh my God. Intro by Better Bachelor himself. Really, it's a forget. First couple of chapters are philosophy. Just go look at the numbers and the stats. It's measuring women's behavior and how much they're interested in men. It's there. I compiled it into a book. It's more of a study, actually, and ran some numbers and some statistics. Go look at it, right? The numbers don't lie. Unless the means by which they measured the statistics, the methodology was bad, which is a thing. It absolutely can happen in social sciences. But the numbers I pulled up, I think, are all I wanted to say is I just want to get into the ballpark. Yeah, read through that and you'll realize, this is the numbers on how much you guys spend on pursuing women is spot on. That much is true because those numbers, we've all spent them. But measuring women's interest in men, go look at that. Doesn't have to be within 8 decimal points, but plus or minus 5%, which I think I got. I think I'm there. Even if it's plus or minus 10%, I think we're there. It's not worth the pursuit. Or if you are going to pursue, and that's like the last chapter, how do you pursue intelligently and get your stats up to like 50-50 without costing you a tremendous amount of time and money? But the numbers in there should tell you, be like, oh yeah, okay. It doesn't matter what theater and circus is going on the internet. All that matters is the actions in the real world. And those numbers measure their actions in the real world. All right, let's go to the super chats here. Hate Speaker Sargon of Akkad, 20 generous dollars. How do I pay for a video? I want to see your take on that. Blackfire rundown, a police officer as someone was killed by a cop in another state. Oh, that sounds horrible. Just go to assholeconsulting.com. Send in a request. Gal. I'll tell you right now, if the son was manslaughtered, right? Not rightly killed, I could understand the anger of the father, but taking it out on some other cop, no, that's not acceptable. $10. If it's a fake from a minority of women, a lot of women will follow the behavior of these gals. Right. I don't, you even a darker observation. What if they influence women to do that? I was thinking like what most women would have the independent mind and say, oh, that Coco Butte is bullshit. Or this gal who's sleeping with 100 men in 24 hours. That's BS. I would, oh my God. Yeah, you're right. I didn't think about that. I live in Fort Collins, University Towns, and it's awful here. Right. You're in a Marxist leftist town. The great one is formerly from there. And I could see a university town corroborating just the worst of the TikTok influencers. Look, ladies, even if it's in the real world, like you got stoicism. It is not under our control. The outcome of this is not under our control. It will be up to women to decide whether or not they wish to comport themselves in a way in public that would attract men to them. And if it is their true desire to speak out against the professional wrestling theater saying that's fake. So when I start, have you ever seen really a post saying that's fake? Admittedly, a lot of people are falling into the trap. Like, oh my God, I can't believe. Like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Is that fake? I want to know, where are you girls saying that's fake? Just show us where there's some people like, nope. She's just doing it for a admittedly, my audience skews heavily male, but we do have a handful of female audience members. And every once in a while, I'll get an email from a gal like, oh, this isn't that. But they're all older, like my age or older. And like, oh, no, this is that's not how it should be. Yeah, but we are talking maybe not single digits, but less than a dozen. And I'm like, no, girl, that's not. And then what's really sad, and, it's not my job to guess where your hearts lay, ladies. But it's evidence where they say, oh, women really do want this, though. And it's coming from an older gal. And they're all confused. It's like, well, that's their problem. Men look, if there can't be any progress, people leave a system, right? If there's no way to, you stop losing, you stop winning at blackjack, you're going to walk away. But you don't understand. And I'm not criticizing the older women that write in. They really do want, well, that's too bad. It really is too bad. Because, man, there's an impossible wall of bullshit men got to go through. Hey, do you really want me to just grab you and kiss you in the throes of passion, or you want me to ask your permission? Because one, it looks like I go to jail if I do plan A, but you may really want plan A. Well, hey, you know what? This has just been a pain in the ass to get to this date anyway. I gotta go grocery shopping. Reen, $5. I do have a 5% success rate. Well, 0 during the Christian singles meetup. I think it's far more accurate than we want to admit. Show me the good news. I would imagine nowadays maybe 5 with the internet and with both men and women just being completely demoralized from one another. I think they're also jaded and suspicious, and not irrationally so. But I would say, yeah, nowadays, women's effective interest in men is down by about 75% based on the online dating apps. Cappy, online dating isn't the real world. Okay, show me real world data. All right, but it is data, right? And that is how people are meeting, right? So it is germane. It is part of the real world too. Are we moving the goalposts again? See, so if it's in the real world, yeah, I could see 1 in 20. Yeah. Ken Rose just says hello for $5. Thank you, Ken. Green, again, $5. The only positive I've seen, there has been some controversy lately with a bunch of VTubers supporting men. There's been a big cancellation campaign against those YouTubers. I mean, we see an Scott Galloway, and he's one of the faster ones of the old dinosaur boomer mainstream media. Hey, wait a second. I spy with my PhD in marketing eye. There's something wrong here. Like Powell, we're all John McClane in the Nakatomi Plaza. Powell is like somebody like, oh my God, did you see what's happening over here? Like, say, Jordan B. Peterson. Galloway is the fucking police chief or lieutenant that shows up. Oh, we're gonna need some FBI guys, I guess. Like that guy. That's how late to the party he is. But he knows there's something wrong. Like, well, thanks for getting here, Lieutenant. Don't worry, everybody. Scott Galloway is here now. In another 57 years, when he's 117 years old, he might have a solution. So yeah, you see the mainstream media, they're like, oh my God, what's wrong with men? Boys in crisis. And how does it affect women the most? Like, that was literally one of the articles that was written by the BBC. And then my favorite. Well, what do we do? Well, we need more government money. Oh, it's a Scooby-Doo men can't figure it out. We need more programs for men and boys. Like, how about making women thin and hot and fuckable again? How about that? How about making women nice? How about you stop with the discrimination and, 40, get rid of the 40% tax rates? How about that? With that, whoa, hang on. Have women lose weight? How dare you, sir? It's not my economy is going to be ruined. I'll be dead. Yeah, so it's nice to see the ideas getting out there, but man, the solutions they come up with is just hilarious. It's just potato sauce, 5 Australian. Way too risky to assume they are lying. Better to take it at face value and act accordingly. Well, I think what's even more devious is there's like a seed of truth, and they're just doing it tongue in cheek. There's like an element of lying, an element of truth, which fuck that mind game bullshit. Fuck that. I'm not going to do that. All right, book of numbers link below. I'll see you guys later. Toodles.